Hey Gemini, welcome to Higher Source Tarot. So glad you found me. If you have Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus anywhere in your chart, you're in the right place. This will be your 2020 predictions. So predictions for or forecast for the year of 2020 for Gemini. All Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So thank you to all of you who have subscribed. I really appreciate that. It's exciting to see new subscribers. I appreciate your comments, and I will answer you as long as sometimes the settings are different. I can't always answer, but I always try, and if I can answer, I do. And sharing and liking the videos. I do think it's kind of funny when people dislike, because then you're energetically tied not only to me but to the video into something you don't like. So learn about deliberate creation, because you don't really want to do that. If you don't like something, I just keep it moving. I mean, I don't care personally, but I'm just telling you from the standpoint of you create your own reality. You want to focus on the things you want. So for 2020, you want to set your intentions and know that you can ask for anything. In fact, asking it is given are the cards I'm going to be using for your 2020 predictions. And these are by Esther and Jerry Hicks. They have been longtime teachers of the law of attraction and how to manifest things into your reality. So if you're interested in that, I would check out some Abraham Hicks and learn more about it, especially if you're somebody that's kind of like, you've watched The Secret and you think this sounds good and you believe it's true. Keep going, because there's so many teachers out there, from Abraham Hicks to even Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden. Wonderful teachers. So I know I've been able to manifest so many things into my life. This year alone, I think I went to, oh my gosh, I traveled at least I took 4 different trips, but I traveled to several states during one of them. I think I went to 10 different states this year. And I also got to meet Deepak Chopra face to face, which is really exciting. So don't limit yourself. Know that anything can happen, and you don't know how it's going to happen. You know, I mean, I manifested 40 trips out of the country, and I grew up really poor, but I love to travel, and I wanted that to happen, you know. And I had a house when I was 23 years old, bought my first house, and I remember sitting on the steps and thinking, wow, this is really mine. And I was so in love with that house, and then life expands. And then by the time I was 27, I thought I'd like a bigger house, and so we built a house, and I wanted a brand new house, and I still live in that house. However, now I find myself almost 19 years later saying, you know what, I'd really like a Florida house, or I'd like a beach house. Florida would be a good place to start, but maybe there's other places I'll look. You know, and that's how it goes. Guess what? I'll have that house. I just have to commit the time and looking and finding it, but it'll come. It always does. Things always work out for me. So you believe that in you, Gemini, and you're going to have the kind of manifestations I seem to have all the time. So let's see what is going to go on here for Gemini 2020. Now I keep saying I'm going to pull clarifiers, and then I haven't needed them. I will if I need them. How about that? So here we go for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Wow, really good looking. Got a lot of major arcana here. September, October, November, and December. Okay, now you got the sun on the bottom of the deck too, so we're going to say that'll be our clarifier for any of the cards. Really, we can companion with the sun, even if they're opposite energies. So you're going to begin January. I think you've got something new coming in for sure, but this can also be an olive branch. So if you've had some kind of disagreement with somebody, you're going to get communication, and you're going to get some kind of an apology, an amends, reconciliation, something along those lines. You've got some kind of a new energy that'll come forward. And also, if it's a relationship, it's going to be you're going to have great chemistry. If you meet somebody in January or the latter part of the year here that you've met, there's going to be phenomenal chemistry between the two of you. And then you have in February, you've got wish fulfillment here. This is also Aquarius energy. So I see in here you've got a lot of air, you've got water, you've got fire, you do have some earth, but you also have Cancer, you have Aries. The Emperor keeps showing up. I've had it in every reading. That's funny. And Aquarius here. You also have Leo. So could be any of those. If it's one of those signs that I just mentioned, this may be for you more than others. So with the star in February, you may be taking a trip somewhere, but you're definitely going to be investing in yourself. You might be starting some kind of a health and fitness program, going to CrossFit, signing up for Fit Body Boot Camp. I know a lot of the local branches here are doing an 8-week transformation. And I don't say this in every video, but for some of you, sign up. Do that for yourself. Invest in yourself. Really get yourself into a good place the beginning of the year here. Next up, you're going to move into February. If you're dealing with an air sign, you've got a predominant amount of air energy. I do feel, though, if you're dealing with an air sign, I'm not confident that it's going to be a great match. And I'll tell you why. Because you have so many swords here that are like, they're just contemplative, but there are also some negative connotations to them. And I'd be careful with that. With this, it's kind of like you don't care what other people think, and it may not be you, it may be somebody else that's around you who's just kind of distant. They're not fully able to let their guard down, and I don't know that you're going to want to deal with that. I feel like it's somebody who can kind of see both sides, but they don't really care, I guess. They can be very judgmental. So I just feel like in March, if you have somebody where you're just not vibing with them, it's not going to be worth your time, Gemini, to keep trying. I think you need to cut your losses here. And it's possible some of you are going to be, in February, you're going to invest in yourself. You're going to hit a turning point, okay, by March, that you're going to want to cut somebody loose. And I think you need to do that. If that happens for you, by April, you may end up going to a therapist. You may need to do some things to recover. If you break free of a relationship, I want you to look up the 7 mirrors of the Essenes. It's the 7 relationship mirrors. Greg Braden does a lot of work on this, and he has videos about this that are really helpful. But it will show you your patterns in relationships through those 7 mirrors, and they will show up again and again in your life. So if this is you and you are breaking free of something, it could be work related too. I want you to do that. I found the first 3 mirrors incredibly helpful. The first one is basically what you have in you, you're going to encounter. So the people that you encounter are your vibrational match. So if you say, well, I'm not a liar, I'm really loyal. That's not me. But they're vibrationally, there's something about your vibration that does match theirs or they wouldn't appear. The second mirror is the one that I found to be the one that shows up the most in my life, even in very subtle ways, and that is that what I believe I have a charge in, other people cannot demonstrate. So for instance, I believe I'm incredibly loyal, I'm honest, I have integrity in relationships, and I went through a period of time of a couple of years where I kept having people in my life who didn't have those things. I had what I thought was a close friend who really turned on me, and it kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't really see it coming. I knew they were struggling with some things. They had had some deaths, and they were having a hard time. They hated their job. I mean, everything around them was very negative, and they got very angry with me about something that I didn't do, and then they went off, and I mean, like to the point where they were hitting their hands on the table and pounding the table. And I said, look, I'm not going to participate in this. And I got up and left. And they went back and told groups of people that I was yelling and screaming, and I was not. I didn't do that. And we don't talk anymore. That was after that. But the thing was, there were other indicators before that they were subtly dishonest, and I just didn't want to see that. I then was in a relationship with a man who abruptly left with no warning and then went back to a group of people he told me not to be friends with because he said he didn't like any of them. Again, with the disloyalty, right? And the dishonesty. I've even had it at work subtly where I've given my boss a great idea for my department, and she said, you know what, I'm going to do it for the whole organization. And I don't get any credit for it. And it's somewhat dishonest and disloyal. I mean, I don't really need the credit, but it's like something where I want to plan it for my department because we're charged with providing certain professional development. And then I have somebody else who kind of just takes over and takes off with it. I hope this is still working. I keep getting low power symbols. We'll see if I can make it through the whole reading because I do want to give you this reading. So, my attention to it invites it in. Again, I'm putting my attention there where it doesn't belong. Every thought that you give your attention to expands and becomes bigger and a bigger part of your vibrational mix. Whether it is a thought of something you want or a thought of something you do not want, your attention to it invites the essence of it into your experience. So the next part of this, you're going to have something that happens here where I think you are going to have a little bit of down time in May. It's possible too where you're going to have something like the stories I just told, where somebody stabs you kind of in the heart, where they backstab you. That's not really the right term for it, but I do feel like you're going to have a parting of ways here, but it is, from the rest of the cards, it's going to be for the best for you. So you're going to have a little bit of a lower vibrational period here in May, but you're going to bounce back from that very quickly, Gemini. What I see happening for you, you go right into June, and here you are moving forward, and this is speed. The Chariot is a card of manifestation. It's Cancer, it's speed, it's strength. There's going to be no looking back. The Chariot does not look behind him. So for you, whoever this was that hurt you in whatever way that they did, don't worry about it because you're going to keep going and good things are going to come in that wouldn't have been able to if you would have stuck around in that other situation. It was not for your good. And sometimes you have to know that you just have to take a leap of faith and things are going to work out. And that's exactly what's going to happen for you come June. You're going to move forward, and it's also like, I guess, being in flow. You're going to feel like you're going to rebound from whatever this Three of Swords is. You're going to rebound very quickly from that, get in flow, and guess what happens? So this is July. You're going to get a big offer of love in July. So if you have a breakup, don't worry about it because by July, you're going to have enough months to kind of move forward. And the next thing you know, here it comes, boom. And then you've got the Hierophant. I mean, you've got some real stable cards coming up. So with this, you're going to have some kind of a big offer. And it's possible. I do see this as sort of a never-ending cup of love, enduring love, more so than anything to do with career or money. You know, it's going to be abundance. So in July, you're going to have a great amount of abundance. And then you go into August with the Hierophant. And again, this is about higher learning, higher education. If you've been thinking about going back to school or something like that. It's also about marriage and ceremonies. Can be funerals too, but I don't see that for you. I think that you're going to be, you know, it's possible some of you are going to meet somebody and within a month be like engaged or eloping or living together or something really crazy. Or 2 months maybe with the Chariot. It's like you meet them and boom, 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 all of a sudden you're living together. I could see that for some of you. So with the Hierophant, this is about change. So I feel like where the 3 and the sadness was, you're changing to higher ground here. And don't forget, because you've got the Sun as a clarifier, that will be definitely a positive move for you. Every subject is 2 subjects, wanted and not wanted. Every subject is really 2 subjects. There is that which you desire and the lack of it. Often, even when you believe you are thinking about something that you desire, you are actually thinking about the exact opposite of what you desire. How do you know that? It's how you feel. If you're getting a tightness in your chest, you're not thinking about what you want, you're thinking about the absence of it. So be very cognizant of your emotions. If you're starting to feel like every time you wake up, you have this one thing on your mind and you have a panicked feeling, the momentum stops while you sleep, but the minute you open your eyes and you begin again, you need to stop. If that's how you're doing things, you need to stop immediately and clear your mind. Okay, stop that momentum, because the minute that starts, your whole day is gonna go like that, and you don't have to do it that way. So be cautious about that. Now, with September, you've got the Page of Swords. I think this could be an X. I think whatever you're manifesting here and you move forward, I think you've got somebody who's going to come out from the past who's watching you. They're doing some spying on social media. Swords are all about communication, and I think you can end up having a situation where you're in a new relationship and you have somebody from the past that tries to come in and say, I made a mistake. I should have never let you go. And guess what? You're not going to care. You know, it's like, let me think about that for a minute. Nope, still don't care. I think that's going to be you, but I do think you're going to have somebody that shows up out of nowhere, and they are going to communicate with you, and you're just not going to want it, and you're not going to want their opinion on it. And I think you will conclude that chapter of your life, whoever this was with, especially if they're doing like some stalking of you. And I use that term very loosely. That's going to make it worse, where you're going to be almost like your skin's crawling. So this will not be a new relationship. This is going to be something else, though, that comes in. May also be, for some of you, you may find that you have a little, this is like a word of caution, like Spirit is cautioning you. Be careful with your sword. Be careful with, using your words. Calibrate your words carefully in September. So emails, phone calls, stuff at work, just be cautious with it, okay? Now, for October, very nice stable energy. So you go from almost completely opposite with the Page of Swords, immature, crappy communicator, to the King of Pentacles, who's like the pinnacle of stability, practicality, very responsible energy. Now this is slow moving, so I feel like for some of you this might be work or financial, where it's going to be a commitment. I do think whatever you started, this relationship, there's a commitment there that's going to be long term. But I also think there could be something here with you getting a promotion, but it's going to have some kinks in it, where they're going to go, no, you're the right person, hold tight. We've got to work out some of the money stuff. We are going to do this, but it just is going to be slow. Be patient with that. Keep your mind full of positive things. Don't sit and dwell upon it. If you need to, try the 7-Day Mental Diet by Emmett Fox. That would be a good thing to do during the month of October, because you might get kind of impatient, and if you start pushing, you're going to push it right out the door. So don't do that. You just need to know that it will unfold. And here you go. Here's November. It's unfolded. You've got Aries energy here, but you've got the Emperor. This is somebody who is kind of stern, but they don't mess around. In November, things are going to come to fruition for you, because this is all about power, but it's about manifestation and moving. He's powerful in his throne. I think once you get through the King of Pentacles, it's almost like the next level is now the Emperor. Now, in December, you've got something here, and I almost wonder if it's this Page of Swords coming back that's full of regret and almost wanting to give it one last swing. I also feel like for some of you, the sadness is not about a relationship. It could be something like a different kind of a loss. This is kind of about like being disappointed in some way, and it's a change, right? It could also be grief. So you need to be very careful in December to surround yourself again with positive things. You've also got, again, the Sun as a clarifier, and that's Spirit telling you to stay positive. Look, there's still 2 cups up right behind you. I don't feel like it's going to be a breakup. I think you have too many strong cards in there, but I do think for somebody, something is going to happen. I feel like there could be possibly somebody transitioning over into non-physical. And if that happens, know that that was their time. You know, that was the time that they felt they had fulfilled why they're here. And if that's the case, again, quiet your mind, and you can have contact with energies once they've gone back into non-physical. You absolutely can. Go get on Gaia TV and watch about, I don't think it's called channeling, but there's a documentary, and it's all about people who channel. That's what they believe they can do through meditation. So know that, you know, there are still always 2 cups standing. It doesn't matter that there are 3 that are spilled. There's still 2 that are standing. And it may even be some kind of a, I feel like some of you might have some kind of a family disagreement, and it's like there's 2 cups standing. It's almost like there's 2 people, like you're caught in the middle of some kind of a difficulty with your family, and you might just have to say F it and go towards the sun. If that happens, know that, like, I don't need to be in the middle of this. I now hold the key to creating my every desire. It is not possible to consistently feel positive emotion about something and have it turn out badly, for the way you feel will tell you if you are allowing your natural well-being or not. Once you understand that the way you feel indicates your level of allowing or resisting, you now hold the key to creating anything you desire. So, for you, Gemini, know that the keys to your happiness are in your own pocket. They are not in somebody else's control. Okay, so know that. And you were put here to be happy, joyous, and free. And boy, your year of 2020 looks awesome. I am happy for you, and I'm so grateful again to all of you who tune in and subscribe and help me build this channel. So I love you, and I'll be back later this week for your January 2020 reading.